All right. First of all, I'd like to thank Sunrise Podcast Network for having me today. And our special star here today, poker star, is Shannon Shorr.
What's up, Clyde?
Hey, man.
Happy to be here.
Hey, thanks for joining us. For those who don't know, I'm going to give you a few things about Shannon. First of all, he's won over $14,358,000, according to the Hidden Mob, which ranks him number one in Alabama, state of Alabama. And this guy knows how to start the year. I mean, what can I say? And January 3rd, he won PGT Last Chance for $297,500. And then 5 days later, he wins the same thing for $290,000. So you definitely know how to start the year. Welcome to the show again. All right.
Go.
let's talk about some poker here. Wait, first of all, what got you into poker?
So I got into poker. I was a student at the University of Alabama way back in 2003. And that was around the time Moneymaker was blowing up on the ESPN episodes. WSOP was starting to be broadcast. And I lived right at the heart of campus at the University of Alabama, and that's a very big party school. So it was just like nonstop partying and playing poker. Like once it was on TV, the guys and I, we would like pre-drink before going out to bars and stuff by playing $5 house games. So we did this for a while. Eventually, I made a deposit online. A lot of us started depositing online at that time on party poker. So I deposited like $50 and was just completely hooked. I stopped. I was a much worse student. I was playing a lot of online poker, and it was actually like donating quite a bit of money. I lost like a few $1,000s at the start of my poker journey. I thankfully had a co-oping job. I was an engineering student, and I would rotate, like I'd do 1 semester of school, 1 semester of work. So I was like making quite a bit of money as working as a student. So that's how I funded my degeneracy. But yeah, I got to know the game that way. It took me a while, but I did get lots of reps, which was nice. Eventually, I met Jonathan Little, who you know is a huge star in the game.
Absolutely.
And he was a bit ahead of me on his timeline. He was probably like in the game 6 months or a year before me, and he became quite the mentor for me as we played online party poker. We used to chat on AOL Instant Messenger, and he gave me quite a bit of good advice, and thankfully I was able to turn things around. Eventually, let's see, it was late 2005, I won an online satellite to go play in the Aussie Millions down in Australia. And I went down there and ended up finishing 4th in that main event.
Wow.
And that was for like a couple $100,000, and thankfully haven't had to look back since.
Well, that'll get you hooked right there.
Yeah.
And, you know, I deal to you guys all the time in the Poker Go studio. Jonathan Little's pretty damn good. I wouldn't mind having him on this show.
Yeah,
he's
I'm sure
got
he'd love to do
a lot of
it.
information about poker. I know that.
Yeah, incredible human, incredible poker player.
So that got you started. Wait, you look young, and you've won that kind of money. You must be going for joy, because poker's not an easy game.
Yeah, it was. There was definitely. There's been multiple like dark periods of my life throughout this journey. Poker's not all like glitz and glamour as it's portrayed, as you know. It's still work. You still have to show up, be there. You need to learn to deal with all sorts of emotions. Poker will humble you all the time. You'll come across all sorts of different people, and people will say shit that like sticks with you and stuff. So you definitely get a real life education. It was a very cool way to spend my 20s. I learned a lot and got exposed to a lot of people. I always think about poker that's one of the coolest industries in that you're exposed. I can't imagine there's many other industries where you're exposed to such a variety of types of people.
Yeah, plus you get a lot of free time when you're playing poker. You can decide when you want to play and when you don't want to play, right? So that's a good thing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like now you have a family, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of, I mean, how do you juggle family with poker now? I mean, how do you do that? How do you manage that?
Yeah, that's definitely been an adjustment. I've got a 3-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old son now. I used to spend quite a bit of time traveling worldwide to tournaments. The last 6 years, I've been living in Vegas and doing less travel. So much stuff, thankfully, comes through here post pandemic. There's just tons of tournaments, all these PGTs and stuff.
Right.
So I don't have to travel as much. I'll usually travel to Florida a few times a year for their tournaments down there at Hard Rock, maybe California once or twice. But family's always going to be first to me. My parents were very in my life, so I very much want to do the same for my kids. So that's first
I love
priority.
hearing that. I love hearing that.
Yeah, I mean it's just
yeah.
like I'm trying to follow my heart.
You don't. Have you ever been out of the states to play though?
Yes, I've spent quite a bit of time playing internationally as well. Made that initial trip to Australia to the Aussie Millions. I spent quite a bit of time playing the EPT, European Poker Tour. Went to Prague, Barcelona, Amsterdam, France, Greece. So I've been to 40 plus countries. That's a really nice perk of having played poker. It's sort of aided to my leisure travel as well.
When you go to these other places, is it like a vacation too, or you just focus so hard on poker where you don't enjoy, being like across seas or being somewhere else?
I've always been really diligent about getting out and seeing the sights and trying to soak up some of the cultures. I've always tried to stay in Airbnbs where I could, as opposed to hotels, so I could sort of like feel the culture of the place that I was in. So there's a lot of guys who don't. A lot of people just show up and stay in the card room and play, which is easy to do, especially if you're losing, you feel compelled to like keep grinding. But I did a pretty good job, I think, of separating my leisure time. And yeah, it's sort of a mini vacation. It's still work first, that's a priority. You need to be there and operate in the way that you can succeed. For years, I just spent a lot of time in Europe just chasing girls and drinking endlessly into the night. And I didn't have
a life.
I didn't have great poker results during that time. So.
But I bet you had results.
It was, yeah, it was fun. But yeah, so that's, as you mentioned, freedom in poker. Poker does allow that, but you also really need to have discipline to like manage yourself and
your
show
money
up
too. I would assume, because if you decide to make poker your career, okay, I mean, you can't go broke if you got a family. You need to really watch your money, I would think, right?
100%. Like my risk of ruin now is much higher than when I was, in my 20s.
Yeah,
like
you're not partying all the time now.
Yeah,
right?
It's very, very important that I protect myself, especially like you're well aware of the variance in these tournaments. You play a 10K buy-in, you could very easily, lose a couple $100,000 like right away. So you have to protect yourself and make some swaps with people. That's a common thing that happens, as you know.
Yes, I've seen that too.
Selling action as well is a common thing.
Now,
So
you got off to a good start this year. I mean, in all reality, I've seen your stats. You won 2 right in a row, bang, bang. And that's a great way to start the year. So now it's not just a confidence I'm assuming you got now, but with having them 2 quick scores, like both being first place too on top of it. I mean, heck, that's got to give you confidence to, okay, now I don't have to worry about feeding my family or nothing. I got a solid mind to go play now, and don't worry about, if I lose, right?
Definitely, yeah. It's always nice after big scores to like, that deep in your subconscious you're not going to have these worries about finances, especially with 2 young kids. The finances or the expenses just don't stop coming. So,
Shannon, I'm over there and I deal to you guys all the time. The Poker Ghost Studio, okay?
Yeah.
A lot of them rebuy multiple times, and we're talking $10,000 buy-ins. So if you get cold and you play for a whole week, 7 tournaments and lose 20, 30,000 a day, ooh, that can hurt.
Definitely.
And some of them do that, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, you see it all the time, and it's very easy to like when you especially in these series like at PGT where they're like 5 or 6, 7 days in a row.
Right.
It's very easily to get mentally broken, and you'll see people just start to make really bad decisions. They'll lose and lose, and it's really hard when everything's happening so fast to stay composed. So that's something that I think that separates the top players from the sort of mediocre players is like the mental game of like holding it together and trying to reset after each elimination.
Yeah. Now that you've said it that way, I've seen a couple where they they kind of press themselves to play. I've
Mhm.
seen it, and
Yeah.
that's when you can go rook if you don't watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely have to, exercise some discipline in this game and sort of understand. I think you need to be aware of the variance and how bad you can get hurt potentially, and take the appropriate measures to
All right,
protect yourself.
not that I'm a big time player like you guys. I mean, come on, I love to play, and like I've said many times, I work at RE. I got a full time job. I love it. I wish I could play more, but when I get in a tournament, I take it like it's my very last tournament, and I don't re-enter. It's
Hmm.
not that I don't have the money, but I just think if I'm running bad now, I don't know what's going to change it. Have you ever taken that attitude, or do you re-enter in tournaments sometimes?
I generally have always re-entered.
Okay.
I figure like I'm there, and I kind of treat it as my given that it's my profession. I feel like I have to, I always feel compelled to like just keep firing. Um, but I totally understand that that type of thinking. A lot of people do take that approach, and especially if you think you're going to like not play as well after having been eliminated, then it makes a lot of sense uh, to not rebuy.
All right, here's my next question. I have not asked any other poker pro yet. Okay.
Okay.
A lot of them do that coin stuff. Are you into that? I
Uh,
mean, how do these players still be able to get money to buy in? But I hear a lot of them are with that. What's it called? Something
oh,
coin, right?
cryptocurrency you're
Yeah.
talking? Yeah,
Are you in on that?
I have some exposure there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that does that help?
When it when it's going well, it helps.
Oh,
When it's not,
okay.
yeah,
All right. See, I don't know shit about it. This is why I'm asking.
yeah, I think it's a reasonable idea for everyone to have some at least small exposure to it. I think it's an asset class that can really do well over time.
Well, there's a guy that I've dealt to inside the Ivy room over at the Aria, and his name is Three Coin or something. And evidently, he made a lot of money on that,
Hmm.
whatever it's called. But I'm afraid if I throw money in it, it'll go down. I'll end up losing money. So I
Hmm.
don't do the coin thing. But if it helps, hey, that's why I'm at. There's people out there that's watching this watching this podcast right now, thinking, do I want to try? That's why I thought I'd ask you about it,
Hmm.
because there's people that are thinking about doing it.
Yeah, this is not investment advice, but
Okay.
there's of course lots of like altcoins, which are just there's literally millions of these coins that are popping up every day. So some people sort of hit the lottery by being in them early and they're riding them all the way up.
Oh,
But for every success story that you hear, there's hundreds, thousands of guys who put money in a coin that literally goes to zero. So
yeah, yeah,
unless you
that's
have a lot of
horrible.
experience trading these coins, it's generally not advisable to hold like smaller market cap coins. It's much better to just hold like Bitcoin and Ethereum and the top coins.
Wow. I don't think I would ever do something like that, but I just sometimes think as I deal to you guys, like, man, how do you be able to keep putting 10,000 out there, playing a tournament, unless you're getting backing or something, or the three coin stuff or something like that.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
there is lots of backing that like people that are backed that you'll see in those tournaments at the studio, or people that sell a large percentage of
yeah,
their
I've heard
buy-in.
that. I didn't know how much was going on, but I did hear about it.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
to be bankrolled to play $10,000
y-
tournaments, you need to have seven figures of a bankroll, and
exactly.
it's
Yes.
it's hard to set that kind of money aside and also you know
Yeah.
pay for everything else and live your life the way you want to live it. So there's a lot of that that's happened. There's some guys who have a lot of money in there for sure. But
Yeah. It's you know I- you. I'm sure you know about what happened to me, and I was off for a while from work. Uh, but before I got the heart problem that I had, I was playing well, and I was getting ready to play the World Series. I was going to play the main event. I was going to play the 10,000 Omaha High Low, and I wasn't able to do it last year. But if I everything goes like it's going right now, and I slowly get better, I plan on playing it. Now, when I came back to work, and I was off work for like almost, I think it was like 6 months. they had a little get together. I mean, you've seen the show.
Mm-hmm.
Now that show was pre-filmed before I actually got back to work. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
I just got out of the hospital. But I want to show you what they made for me here. Okay, they knew about
Oh.
my snack attack by pushing snacks. They knew about that, and they made me this snack sack. I'm going to show you this.
Love that.
Okay, now isn't this pretty cool? And it's this little bag that all of us dealers we carry around when we get tipped at the table, and we put them in our shirt, and then when we get tapped out, we put them in our bag. But look, somehow he found this picture of me, and it says snack sack.
I love that.
So I thought that was so cool. And it's amazing. Sometimes when you're at your job, you don't know if you're liked or not because some people are quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know if you're liked or not. And when they come up with that, I thought, that's pretty cool. And they gave it to me during the presentation, which I'm sure you've seen, right?
Mm-hmm.
The patch.
Mm-hmm.
And that made me feel pretty good because a lot of people are private to themselves and they don't want you to know about them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing I learned too, because the whole time you're thinking this person doesn't like you, and the next thing you know, maybe they do. They just want to be private with their life.
Mm-hmm.
Are you like that with your poker life?
Uh, in what way do you mean?
You don't want your face up on billboards or anything like that? Is that right?
I feel like I've never been great about being in like the limelight, however big or small it is in poker. I'm not somebody who like goes around and like talks about my accomplishments really or anything. So
Okay.
I always feel a bit uncomfortable when anybody earlier, like you mentioning that I'm a star. Like I don't
You
feel.
are. Dude, look how young you are, and you've won $14 million already.
I
That's not
appreciate
easy
it.
to do.
I
I mean,
appreciate
I
it.
played myself, so I know it's to twin. It's you not only got to be good, you got to run well too at certain spots of a tournament.
Mm.
I mean, I finished 59th in a tournament, but that big hand that I lost, if I would have won, I could have finished 10th
Mm-hmm.
because of that one hand. So you need everything to go right in certain spots. Am I right?
Definitely. I mean, just like early on in my career to like have that big score right away afforded me the time to like, you know, continue to improve my game, like understand how the industry works, understand how not to go broke. But for every one of me, there's so many guys who just never got that big score right away. So that was huge in my ability to just fund a career. So I feel like I've won multiple lotteries just to be where I am.
And
So
and like I've said, I mean, once you get that, also, this is how I would take it. I'm not to your stature as far as winning that kind of money yet, but I look at it. Once that happens and it goes your way, doesn't it give you confidence to even open up your game more?
definitely, yeah, being well bankrolled, even nowadays, like after a big score, I feel much more free
To
to
make a
make a
move.
play, exactly.
And you
Trust my
say,
instinct. Whereas when things aren't going well, it's like you're like, oh really? Am I about to hero call this off for another 10K buy-in? You know, so
but
it happen at some level in your subconscious, even if you think you don't feel it at the surface. I think a lot of people don't want to admit it, but deep in your subconscious, like you're going to be affected in some of these decisions. So yeah, running well and having confidence definitely always helps.
you just answered one of my questions I was going to ask you. Because you're running well and you make that move, no matter what, hey, I've got a bankroll now. I just got first. I, I feel like it's going my way. Let's do this. I'll just re-enter.
Mm-hmm.
And so you answered the question I was going to ask you there. And I think I would be the same way because when I get running well myself, I want to play in the next week's tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know I'm tired and I work 5 days, but this day off, I want to go play. I
Mm-hmm.
miss playing. So that's how I am.
Yeah, I mean, you see it like I've been in this industry a long time, and you'll continually see that. Like somebody hits a big score, they're just playing every stop along,
Yeah.
traveling and hitting every stop.
Yeah.
And poker is just such an intoxicating game. Like when there's no feeling, as you know, of being deep in a tournament, and there's no world that exists outside of you and the table and trying to like win this tournament. So it just pretty much anybody that I've ever seen who's makes a deep run. It's very rare for someone just to have a big score and totally exit the industry.
What is one thing you like to win before your career's over?
It'd be nice to win the World Series main event
What
or
is
like the
that?
WPT championship, one of these enormous, like
Right.
big main events. Because so far my career hasn't had one of the. I've never had a 7-figure score, so
Wow.
that'd be the dream. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Jeez.
that's the goal.
I'd like a 3-figure score myself.
Yeah. These big scores are hard to come by for sure.
Oh my, excuse me. Sorry, that's why I can't be laughing. Next thing you know, I'm coughing. What is the one thing do you think that you do best? What game? Are you just a hold'em player? Or do you play all games?
Yeah, I've dabbled in other games, but nowadays I pretty much strictly play no limit hold'em tournaments. There's so much of that going around between that and trying to spend time and do everything with my family. There's not a whole lot of time to play the other tournament series or dedicate the time. Like logistically, it's hard for me to spend a lot of time going and playing mixed games late into the night or cash games late into the night. So I'm pretty content to just play tournaments, and it's going pretty well. So
Do you ever play any mixed games though?
I have dabbled. Yeah,
Yeah?
it hasn't gone particularly well.
Oh, okay.
But I'd like to. It's just really hard to get the repetition or play. It seems there's stakes that are either excuse me, either really small or really big, and no kind of in between stakes.
Okay.
So I don't know. No plans to play really in this time. But you're a mixed game guy yourself, right?
Well, yeah, I love every game, but mixed games, and I've been doing really well at it, especially Omaha high-low. I really believe I'm one of the best in the world.
Let's go.
Um,
That's a beautiful
I'm
game.
going to take off work if I have to play in the 10,000 championship at the World Series. And I know Ben Lamb won it last year.
Mm-hmm.
And, I joke with everybody. That's what I do. And I go, it still counts even though I didn't play, Ben. Still, I got to give you, I joke with him whenever I see him. I kid with him. But I'm very good at that game, and I know it. And I have a number system. And one of these days, I'm going to tell everybody about it. And it keeps me out of trouble. And that's why when I play in tournaments with that game, I go deep no matter what. I mean, I'm never out in 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I got to run absolutely horrible to get out. It's because I come up with this number system that I use. Now, when I go play live in tournament, same thing. I mean, basically, I have a number system. If the flop hits me, I'm probably going to win. And I already know it. If it hits me a certain way, I know it. If not, the key is I can get rid of my hand. So I lose the minimum, but I can gain the most profit.
Mm-hmm.
And if I ever sat you down and showed you this, you would go, wow, because you probably don't know the game that well, right?
Correct.
You'd think, man, Clyde knows how to play poker.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really know how to play that game, and I did a lot of studying. Not just in that game, but I also do good on the other mixed games when they're combined, like deuce to 7. Have you played that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know it's there's a little bit of luck in every game.
Mm-hmm.
But when you got the deuce and the 7 dealt to you, I don't care what the other 3 cards are. You have to worry about the straight and all the other flushes and all that. So I seem to run well when I play in that deuce to 7 mixed game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Especially if you dealt deuce 3, 7.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all games, of course, I know you're mainly hold'em, but position is a big key. And believe it or not, it's like that in every game, not just hold'em. You want to be the last to see what's going ahead in front of you. But I enjoy playing all games. I think I'm good in all of them. But I think in Omaha high-low, I really believe I'm one of the best in the world, and I'll say that until I die.
Let's go.
Because I most of my broadcasts, we get talking about this, and I'll go over to Orleans, and hey, they have an 8-16 high-low, and I win almost every time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the times I don't win, it's amazing. I'll run like dirt, and I'll still only lose maybe $80.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, $80 is one hand.
Yeah, right.
You get it all back
Mm-hmm.
because it's 8-16. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoy playing poker as much as I do dealing. But I also like doing the play-by-play, and I think that's why you like me so much, don't you?
You were
Tell the fans out there how I do. Come on now. I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, Clyde is just a complete legend. Always
I ain't no legend.
so much fun. I really appreciate I know everyone does, but I really appreciate the energy that you bring and your excitement for poker, because when you've played poker this long, it's not as novel. You don't get as many novel experiences. So you appreciate when somebody comes in and enjoys the game, and it reminds you, because I agree with you. Poker's just, I think it's the best game in the world. It's so in depth when you talk about bringing the interpersonal dynamic, especially live poker, when you talk about like your dynamics with different players, the life lessons it can learn. I think poker is like a microcosm for life, and a lot of the ways that a lot of the lessons it will teach you. But yeah, back to you. It's been, just love having you deal.
Well, I was dealing last week, and I think I said this on another broadcast. It was so damn funny, but I also learned from you guys. I don't know if you know this, but as I'm watching you guys play. Even though I'm doing my little, it's over to you now. He raised it to 2,000, which they love it when I do that. They know I got control of the table. And if you're sitting down at this end, he's sitting over here at this end, and you don't know what he put out there, whether it's 6 or 12 or, the rate, whatever the raise may be, I let him know. Okay? So I get a kick out of watching you guys play. So I am assuming when I'm watching you guys and I'm seeing what the board is, I'm thinking what you guys are thinking. This is why I'm dealing. It's what I do. So I learned from you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm dealing a hand, and it's pretty funny. We got a raise, and we got a re-raise. And it gets back to the other guy, the other player, and I'm watching this. And this is, after the river card, because they're betting the whole way. And the guy goes like 120,000. Okay. And the other guy, I think, okay, he's going to fold. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, he's going to come on. Then he makes the call. Now, I want to remind you, as dealers, we got to hit that damn thing. 10 seconds. It drives me nuts. I'm just sitting there thinking, oh, God, please no. And the more suspense I'm in suspense thinking, oh, God, what's going on? But he should have folded by now. That's my thinking. I'm sitting there going, 10 seconds, time extension, 10 seconds. And then he finally makes the call, and I go, oh, God, he makes the call. And I lost control, right? And he made the call. And the whole table starts laughing. I go, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I kind of lost control there for a minute. But that's what happens, and I'm not thinking, honest to God. I'm not trying to make no player bad. You guys know that.
Yeah.
But I thought for sure he's going to fall. But 10 seconds. And that just makes me go, oh, my God, will you please don't do that no more? Because I'm thinking the suspense of what's going to happen in the end.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever seen me like that when I'm dealing?
Definitely.
Like, oh, God damn, he did make the call.
Yeah.
The whole table starts laughing, but I'm thinking, he's folding here for sure. But he made the call, and I just remember me going, oh, my God, what did I just do here?
It's nice at the studio, such like a laid back environment, and so jovial in there that pretty much anything goes. The conversations in there are unlike any that that's the conversations you have in there you're not having at like the Venetian 1600, right?
Right?
So it's nice when like most of us in there know each other, so you got some really
when
good
you're
times.
sitting there as a player. Now you see how I am, because believe it or not, I'm learning a lot by dealing to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I watch, and I was just telling Lucky Chewy the other day about this. You guys are giving me all this information. If I ever got to sit down to play with you guys, you have no film on me.
That's
and
true.
I got film on you.
Mm-hmm.
And I played the one of the events over there in the Poker Go, and I kind of got bad beaten out of it, but everyone kept trying to bluff me. And I was like fourth in chips. I mean, they kept trying to I'm like, dude, stop it. I ain't no rookie poker player here. But then I took the bad beat, but it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait to do it again. But once again, I mean, people look at me, well, what's Clyde over here playing for? But I played a lot of big time poker. I played in the main event, and I made it to day 4, and I cashed in it, and I just love the game so much, and I know you guys could feel it through me. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not just playing it, dealing it. I'm wanting to do play by play. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, even as a special guest star. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, work my 5 days at Aria, and then on the 2 days off, someone goes, "Hey, Clyde, I'm gonna have a home game. Can you come and deal?" And then tape me dealing, and so I could show it to the world. It's how much fun I have with this game. You guys have no clue how much fun I have when I go to work because it's not work to me. It's not work whether I'm dealing over at the Poker Ghost studio or at the Aria. It doesn't matter. It's like, wow. It's like I'm getting paid for something I love to do. And the only time it's hard is when I'm not feeling well. If I'm sick and stuff like that. Other than that, it's like I get to go play with the boys. It really is. And
Yeah.
I think you can feel that from me when I deal to you, right?
100%. Yeah.
Oh,
What's that quote? Get a job you enjoy, you'll never work a day in your
yeah.
life or something.
That's
Yeah.
what they say.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much how I've felt about poker. I mean, it's hard. The emotions, like when it's not going well, is can be tough. But as far as like when I'm there in the moment, it's like the nice thing about poker too is you get a novel experience each day, right? Like if we all show up there, we're going to be paired in a different configuration. You're going to be playing with different people. You're going to see
Right.
something new. You're going to have conversations that help you in your personal life. So yeah, I love it. I agree with you.
Now, when I was telling you about when I'm dealing and I lost control on that, right? When you're as a player sitting there watching two players do that, are you so, are you thinking in your own mind what he has or what he might have to call that? Are even though you're not in the hand, are you watching this? So
Hmm.
if you're in a hand with this guy, you know
Hmm.
how to attack this gentleman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've always sort of tried to treat the poker table as if I'm like playing a professional sport, where I'm like not taking any plays off really, where I'm even if I'm not involved, I'm observing.
Uh huh.
That's not to say I never like early on in small tournaments I'll sometimes play on my phone and stuff, but I think generally like to be a successful poker player, you need to be watching all the action. There's so much information to be gleaned just by paying attention, whether it's a bet size or picking up timing tells
Excuse me.
or getting picking up reads on people. There's just so much information to be gleaned that it's so easy nowadays. You know how we all are so addicted to our phones and being able to have them readily available.
But I don't touch my phone when I'm playing.
Yeah.
I want to ask you this question: what's the most fun? I mean, I know it's not just a job; it is fun.
Hmm.
What's the most fun you ever had at poker table?
I've
You
got to
know that?
say, yeah. I mean, when the feeling of winning a tournament, like playing all the way through a tournament and not being eliminated, has to take the cake. So,
Yeah.
any of the wins, I think, I mean, even these most recent wins, those were very exciting times for me. So, anytime you can just get an outright, particularly if you win outright and don't chop it, which I did in both of these cases uh, this month. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a total euphoric feeling.
A couple years ago, I'm playing the WPT Omaha High Low Championship,
Hmm.
and I get heads up with Alan Kessler. I had him beat like 5 times, and he just kept staying alive. We played till 3 in the morning.
Mm,
Heads up from 10 o'clock till 3 in the morning. Can you
wow.
imagine that?
Jeez.
And I had him every time I had him all in. He'd get half the pot, or he'd get lucky, and the unbelievable card would save him. And it got down to where there was only 15 bets, not 15 blinds, 15 bets.
Mm.
And at the end, he ran well enough to beat me. And I've been hearing it for 2 years now that you let Alan beat you. And I'm like, no, the poker gods did it, not me. I mean, I had him many a times. But during that final table, I got to tell you something because it reminded me, and I love Phil Hellmuth. I know a lot of people make fun of him, but damn, he's good. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
You just look at his results.
Hmm.
He can cry what he wants, but this guy he's damn good. But Alan Kessler reminded me of him that day because we're at the final table. He's arguing about everything, and We get down to the final table, and he tells the guy that's the chip leader, he goes, "Oh, by the way, we want to play in the main event. When we get heads up, we'll split, and then we'll both get to play in the main event." And he's sitting right here to my left, right? And so is the chip leader.
Mm.
And I looked over at him, and I said, "I want to tell you something right now. You're not chopping with him. I'm the one that's going to win this damn tournament. I'm the one that's going to win this tournament. You're not chopping with him." And I went on a card run like you never seen.
Mm-hmm.
I knocked the chip leader out,
Yeah.
and I had the chip lead. And eventually it got down to me and him. But I wasn't going to chop and let him play in the main event after he acted like, "Oh, we're going to chop for sure. We're the two chip leaders." But that was still fun. And I can't wait to get to that point where I'm heads up again.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't just about the win trophy. You also had WPT trophy. You got 2 trophies if you won the damn thing. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think it could happen. I think I play well enough.
I know you'll be back there. Yeah, and the cool thing about poker, I mean, you see the stories of, like, it can happen. A lot of success can happen very quickly. You see people start to stack on score after score after score. And it's a matter of, a lot goes into that. There's a lot of luck involved in any great run in poker, but there's also, like, a lot of skill and discipline. And as long as you, like, for all people that play poker, you need to continuously be working on your game. You never, even now after these recent scores like that I've had, I try to never be like I try to always stay humble because I realize how much variance was involved in me winning. And when I'm getting crushed, I try not to get too down. I try to just, like, focus on each decision point, because that's what poker is, right? Decision point after decision point after decision point. So the best way to get those decision points right is to keep working, keep studying.
Well, here's a couple examples of people that's past players that's ran well. You go back to 2009, Jeff Lozandra got Player of the Year. He won 3 events. He ran hot, okay? Mm-hmm. And then you go back 3 years before that, it's Jeff Madsen. He got hot, and he ran well through you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it could happen. If you get hot in a period of time, and now, once again, not just that you're running card, you got to play well, like you said. I mean, come on, it ain't all luck. If it was all luck, I wouldn't be playing.
Yeah.
All right, being honest. If I had to be lucky every time, forget it. But I believe the skill factor's still there. That's why I still play. Yeah. I believe it does take skill. I've bluffed a lot of times and won pots. So, I think that skill has a lot to do with it. But, the timing part is crucial. Mm-hmm. I've got something that I've had on my board for years now. And when I go play, I put it in my mind, but it's always in my mind. And it's PPTD. And what them letters stand for is position, patience, timing, and deception. Now, all of them reply to poker, because without the deception part, you're not going to win a big pot. You got to spread your range out. You can't always play ace king. You can always play medium pairs. You got to mix it up. You got to play suited cards. You got to re-raise with nothing to make it look like you have something you don't have. So that's why the skill's in there. Mm-hmm. I've done it before. I've seen 2 people raise in front of me, and I just said, you know what? I'm going to use my image here, like being, hard as a rock. I'm going to go above them, and let's see what they do. And I look down at 2 7s, and I power raise, and they all fold. They think I got aces. Mm-hmm. So skill is big, and that's the great thing about no limit. You could do that when there's no limit. You can't.
Yeah, that's what I've always loved about no limit. Is just nothing. Everything's on the table to do. At any point, you can do whatever the fuck you want. So.
If you're playing limit, it's different. You can't be that crazy. Mm-hmm. You're playing more with how many more outs do you have to keep playing and continue on the hand, like an Omaha high-low. I mean, you want to hit the flop a certain way so you can continue. Not, you get rid of the hand. Well, there's no limit, and you can have nothing and move in, and they can fold, and win the hand. That's the great thing about no limit. Mm-hmm. Is that, and that's why Doyle Brunson says Cadillac poker. Yeah, I mean, it's really about you got the kahunas or not.
Yeah,
I mean, jeez.
Yeah, and
Is
just
that what makes you like No Limit more than the others? Because you could use more skill to win, right?
yeah, I like that that you can do anything at any given point. You know, you're not it's easy to like I see in a lot of players they come from like an online background where they feel like compelled to play a certain way, like a very GTO way, but that's definitely not the right way to play against most of your opponents because they're not computers. So I really try to like trust myself and just be in the moment with each hand and do whatever I feel right. Like if if I think a guy's like never bluffing, I'll trust myself to make like really huge folds or bluff in a spot that with a hand that you're not supposed to bluff with, kind of. So yeah, No Limit's just a beautiful game.
Okay. I've asked some of the other poker pros that's been on my podcast here a couple questions because I get a lot of feedback about them asking questions about how to play a hand and stuff. And you being a professional, I'm going to ask you a question. I asked Lucky Chewy a question. I'm going to ask you one here. If you got a raise and a re-raise in front of you and you're on the button and you pick up pocket eights, how would you play it from there?
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a close one. It for me in the spot, it would depend on where the raise and the re-raise came from. Like if they were late position, the later the position.
Listen to this. All these people that's asked me, he's going to tell you the answer. Go ahead. I'm serious. I get asked this. Go ahead.
Like the later the position that the raises come from, the raise and the re-raise come from, the wider range those players can have. Whereas if the player raised under the gun and the player next to act raised under the gun won, those are very tight ranges. So at that point, the eights become a very easy fold. But if I'm on the button and it's like a hijack raise and a cutoff three bet, and these are like two aggressive, capable opponents, depending, of course, on how deep we are. Like it's eights is definitely a candidate for a hand you could go all in with. I wouldn't call basically ever unless we were super deep, like hundreds of big blinds deep.
Right.
But folding is very often going to be a common play there as well.
Okay. I have a couple favorite hands that I like. One of them's pocket red kings and 10 jacks suited. I've won lots of tournaments with pocket kings red for some reason. Do you have a special hand that you like? I want to tell them the world?
No, I always say, I mean, I just usually say aces because it's just like all these years later, looking down at aces, just always, it still hits, you know. It's
Can I tell you about aces? You want to talk about aces?
Let's do it.
Not last year because I couldn't play. I had my heart attack. But the year before when I played the main event, I had pocket aces. And we five bet. We five bet. Raise, re-raise, raise. Now, I called instead of not going all in. Okay? I had an idea what he had. Pretty damn sure idea what he had. And the flop come 10 jack queen. Yeah.
Not great.
That's my luck. Exactly. Now, I didn't know this guy. It's the World Series of Poker. I didn't know who this cat was. I had no idea. So I couldn't give up on the hand yet. Okay? I'm praying he's got pocket king still.
Yeah.
But I know how everyone overplays ace king. I know that. So I make a bet, of course, to find out. He called. I knew when he called he had it. I knew he had the ace king. Okay? So on the river, I bet another small bet. And then when he raised me all in, I knew for sure he had ace king. Okay, I knew it. So that's the kind of luck I have in big moments. I lost a lot of chips now. I didn't get knocked out. Okay? But that was a pretty big blow to me right there. So aces are great, I think, pre-flop. I mean, really, normally, right? I mean, you just hit the miracle flop, right? I mean, goddamn. That don't come 10 jack queen, he's dead meat.
Yeah, it's the classic case in poker of like a lot of people just overplay their aces and can never fold.
Well,
So
I folded. Luckily, God, I did.
Yeah, that's good. A lot of people losing lots of money by never folding, by just falling in love with their aces.
Yeah, but that hurt. That was day one of the main event, and I think that was the first time I got knocked out in day one of the main event. I played the main event, I think, 4 times now.
Hmm.
But that's the first time that was a blow.
Some hands just leave you shaking your head even years later, and it's crazy how we're able to recall. It's funny how certain hands stick with
Well,
you
I
that you.
took a hit from this guy, from this young kid from Japan, and they ended up interviewing him later. I forget his name, but he got lucky on me 3 times. That's how he had all them chips. I kept coming back. I have this thing about myself to where even though I take a hit now because I've learned from it, that okay, I don't care. I'm coming back. I don't care. I'm gonna come back and do well. I don't care. And that's what I kept doing. And then eventually I got knocked out on day one, but I didn't just doff my chips off and say
Hmm.
screw it, even though in the main event you cannot re-enter.
Hmm.
But that's one thing I like about my play now is that I never quit.
Hmm.
I don't care how many hits I take. I figure I can get them back. And I'm sure now. Okay, I get asked a lot of questions when I get a hit like that. I always look at what's the average chip count, right? Okay, what? Let's say we start with 30,000. The average chip count after a while playing is 40, 45. I take a hit now. I'm down to 12.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm like, oh, jeez. I think, well, no, wait a minute. If I could get that doubled up, back up to 24, and then one more, I'm at chip. So I'm just a double up away from being back in the tournament.
Yeah.
So that's how I think. And then I usually try to play a little tricky to disguise my strength so I can get more people to put chips in so I can win a bigger pot. Now that could go against you sometimes. But when you're low on chips, and they pound you when you're low on chips. They
Hmm.
do. You play every day. And if someone sees you like losing your mind or going on tilt, they'll keep raising you.
Yeah.
And you're low and you're dead meat, and they'll force you to play a good hand against them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's the worst feeling in
I
poker when
know.
you like are trending downward and then you feel like people are
Exactly.
going after you, yeah, it can get pretty ugly.
Exactly. I know it's painful, but you learn from it, right?
Hmm.
What's
Yeah.
the biggest thing you've learned in poker?
I'd say ch- I think it's just taught me so much about my how like resilient I can be, especially in a career of playing tournaments where you just lose so often, right? 80% of the time you lose,
That's right.
you leave the casino without winning money. So just I think it's taught me a lesson and just how resilient I can be because so many times the game has knocked me down in a way where I'm like, am I really going to keep doing this? But all these years
Wow.
later, I'm still here. So yeah.
Um, that the thing that brings me to not quitting poker is that I believe in myself. And it got to the point where I felt I was so good that I can't quit now. I really feel that way. I know too much now. I
Hmm.
know why that player is doing that because he did that. I know why he's doing that. Okay, oh, that card came. Now I know what I need to hit to get my hand. You learn all this stuff, and now what? I'm supposed to just quit playing? I
Well,
can't do that. I just can't. I can't see me ever quitting poker.
well said. Yeah, I
I
think
can't.
I see a lot of people like that, and I think that's if you're going to invest. I kind of think when you're getting into poker, you have to be willing to. It's like starting a business. You need like 5 or 10 years where you're like continually building your skill set, learning, and then hopefully it just continues to take off. But like expecting to be able to like jump in right away and crush in poker isn't too realistic unless you're, it happens
Amazing.
for some people, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And when it goes back to my work, when I think about where I used to work was Samstown, and I was there 10, almost 11 years. And then the COVID came, and somehow I got the job at Aria. How much it changed my life, just as a dealer, not a player.
Hmm.
I mean, I loved poker, but man, I really fell in love with it getting a deal to you guys. I mean, you watch you guys on TV. You guys are professionals. So you make me want to even get better to play up against you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not the only one saying this. I've got people wanting to learn the game. I got people saying, "Hey, Clyde, they'll ask me a question. I ain't saying I got the answer right every time, but it's pretty cool that that interested in the learning the game themselves." And I try to help out when I can. That's why I came up with that question about the pocket eights to you, because I get questions like that, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and because you just do Hold'em, I get questions about all the games. But the great thing about Hold'em is you really don't need it. That's what I love about it is you don't need the best hand. You just got to be more brave sometimes
Yeah.
and have that poker face. And I've jumped a few times. It It's a poker go, and I watch you guys' faces. I almost want to start laughing so bad. You'll be like, what I'm saying? Damn, we're like, and I would have laughed so hard because I just see it. I'm like, man, dude, there's a few of them that make some of the funniest poker faces. And what I'll do is when I do it, my play-by-play, I don't know if you've seen it. Have you ever heard me say this one? And there'll be once again that 10-second clock thing drives me crazy. Honest to God, because I can't wait to see the outcome, right? But when one's betting and the other was looking him down, then he calls, and then the next card I turn up, one's looking him down, our guy's looking back at him. I'm thinking, oh God, this is just too much for me. I want to laugh, and they're giving their face like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, God, am I just messed up? My head's loose or what? This is just too much fun for me.
Yeah.
Because they do that. I mean, come on. You don't tell me you don't try that stuff once in a while, right?
Yeah, it's funny how everybody's like stoic in their
Yeah.
own way, right?
Yeah.
Like we all have our different ways that we try to like replicate, not giving anything away, read wise. So
Yeah, it's the game is just I can't see me ever quitting. But like I said on the podcast, I mean, I'd love to be doing play by play someday.
I'm
I
sure
think
there's
I think
people.
I can do it. Uh, I, I would love it. And love to deal even a home game with
Hmm.
somebody and letting them see what you guys see every day with me, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys really enjoy the way I take care of the table when I'm there?
Oh yeah. I personally
Seriously?
can say that I love it.
What
Yeah.
about everyone else? What are they saying?
Yeah. I mean, I think you're
Really?
universally loved. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about you. So
Really?
yeah.
Oh, well, that's good because
Yeah.
I know I enjoy it. Now, I remember when I first started dealing in there, the boss man's like, Clyde, they're playing for big man. Clyde, calm down, Clyde. I'm like, well, they're playing for $10,000 buy-in, Clyde. I don't know. Calm down. And I'm like, I'm so excited from the action. I'm like, how can I be calm? How can I? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And I guess he just got enough feedback now. He just doesn't say much to me, even in most of them. Now, I will say, when you guys are paying for $25,000 buy-ins, I'm a lot more calmer, or at least I try the hardest because I know it's big, big money,
Hmm.
you know. But if one of them hands came up where I thought you were going to fold, and I'd probably lose it because I can't help it,
Yeah.
And I don't know why my mind is like that, but that's what happens to me.
I mean, as I'm sure you've experienced too, like it's pretty at the beginning of tournaments, which you normally
Right,
deal like the
right.
early on in the tournament, right? It's a bit more jovial and laid back, and then as the tournament goes on, it becomes a bit more
Once
serious.
they can't re-enter no more,
Yeah,
it gets serious.
yeah,
Before that, it's all fun and games.
right.
But like I said, and I've said 100 times, when as dealers, we gotta not just worry about what's going on. We gotta watch this clock.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
you
ten
guys are very
seconds, 10,
impressive in that
and
way. Yeah.
we got good deal. I'm sorry, but we really do.
It's great in there.
You
Yeah.
know how hard that is when when you have to count the pot. You're dealing a pot limit,
Oh man, I can't
and you
imagine.
got to think of the clock. That's not easy to do, man.
Yeah,
It really isn't. It's tough.
I'm sure.
So remember, the clock is, and it used to be 30-30. Now it's 20 seconds and 30 seconds, 20
Hmm.
free flop. So you're constantly doing the 10-second thing. And that's what, once you get past that first thing, I'm like, oh my God, how can I handle it? I'll go 10 seconds and he'll check. Then I'll go like over to you now. And you're sitting there thinking, but I'll go 10 seconds. And then You check. Then I'll put the turn card out there. And he's thinking and thinking. I'll go 10 seconds, then he'll bet. And then it'll go over to you, and the clock will run down. I'll go 10 seconds. See, and my whole thinking in my head is, oh my God, please quit putting me through this torture. This is driving me nuts. I mean, seriously, I'm like, God, what's he going to do? Because I'm actually watching the flop, the texture and everything, and what's going on. I'm like, please just fold or go on. This is driving me nuts. But I get a kick out of that, even though it drives me crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting times in there.
For me, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it is. But, Paul every now and then says, Clyde, calm down, buddy. I mean, yeah, but he knows you all love me, I guess, and it's okay. And here's another thing. Now, once again, you're here, and I've never asked you this question before. The players don't get mad at me when I do that, right? They know I'm not rooting against one for the other. I'm just having a good time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you were up against Lucky Chewy, you wouldn't think if I go, when he takes it down, I push him in the pot. You wouldn't be mad at me. That's just how I am, right?
Yeah, I love it. It's entertainment for me. I could see how someone who, like a non-regular, might initially. I'm sure you've had instances where you might have offended some non-regulars.
It happened once on a $5,000 buy-in.
Okay.
Some guy thought I was being rude to him, but I wasn't. It's just me being me. But it happened one time. Think about it. Only one time I can remember that's ever happened. Where Paul said, "Hey, the guy thought you." I wasn't doing that.
Yeah, I mean, if someone
Lucky Chewy wouldn't be mad either if I go and he makes the call and I push you to. He wouldn't be mad at me. He knows that's just how I am too, right?
100%.
So I don't think that would be a case.
I mean, if people are worried about what you're, I mean, I guess it's different if you like said something in the middle of someone's thinking, or if you like interrupted them, which you don't do.
I don't do that. No.
But if someone's worried about the way what you said after the pot, they're worried about the wrong things, and they're probably not cut out for poker anyway.
Well, I just know one thing. I definitely enjoy dealing over at the Poker Go studio, no matter what the tournament is, whether it's pot limit or the big ones, that have 4 a year over there. The Purple Jacket, the Open. What's the other one?
Let's see, you got
the
Poker Go Cup.
The Cup. The Cup's coming up, by the way.
Yeah, that's this month or February.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Is there one we're missing? U.S. Poker Open, Poker Masters, Poker Go Cup. Maybe
as you know, Shannon, you got the best of the best. So when you win one of those, like you did, you went January 3rd and 8th and bang, bang.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, that's a strong field there. I'm sorry, but that ought to give you pride for your own self that you beat the best players in the world. I dealt at the table. Listen to this one. Wow, what a table it was. We had Jeremy Osmus, Lucky Chewy, Sean Winter, Phil Hellmuth. I mean, it was loaded.
Mm-hmm.
All 8 players. If you added up their total lifetime winnings, I bet you it was $100 million. It was so big. It was unreal.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, I was standing there, I said, you guys ain't going to believe this. I've been dealing for a long time, but this is the strongest table I've ever dealt at. I mean, everybody was top notch. And I'm like, wow, they got them all at the same table here. But that just thrills me up. I'm worried about making a mistake now because it was so big. It was so huge.
Yeah, you get a real collection of talent in there, people who've dedicated their entire adult lives and people who've gone different paths.
Hellmuth has won over $30 million. Lucky Chewy's won 22. Right there's $50 million just for them two.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's amazing. If we would add you, look, you got 14. I mean, I'm just saying, that's a lot of money winning at one table.
That's true.
But I really enjoyed it, and I try not to make no mistake. But, it kind of stinks that I'm so little. Because I don't get to deal the final tables.
Oh, is that a factor? Yeah.
The table's so big and so long. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And even if I had my little stick, I don't know if I'd still be able to reach it, and it might affect the reading, the card reader.
Oh, right.
I got that silver thing,
Yeah, I didn't realize that, but yeah.
It's incense holders, what it is. But I just love poker. I love my job, and
you'll be dealing the Poker Go Cup, right?
Oh yeah.
And then are you dealing the PLO and the mixed game series after that as well?
I used to get picked for all that. Usually, yes.
Cool.
But I'm hoping to play in that mixed game.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna go. Did I tell you what I was gonna do on that?
Not.
I'm gonna go try to play the one over at Resorts World and qualify in on a qualifier.
Okay, they got some satellites
And
going.
yeah, that's what I was told. And it's a horse game in which I can know all the
Nice.
horses, so I'm thinking about doing it. And who knows? I mean, I would never think that some guy filming me dealing would take me to where I am today. And his name is Tyler. Tyler Nels. I don't know if you know him or not,
Don't think
but
so.
he taped me dealing at the Aria. He put it on TikTok, and they got 77,000 views.
Oh yeah.
And that's how these movie producers found me to put me on the show.
Oh, is that right?
That's exactly how I got on
Okay,
the
I
show.
didn't realize that. That's cool.
Isn't
Cool
that
story.
crazy?
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's the whole story.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he had his phone there and he taped me. And when they called me and asked me about it, I thought it was spam because I wasn't on TikTok at the time.
Yeah.
And they go, "We know you're not. Somebody posted you on there."
Mm.
And all the people were saying good things about you. So we went to do a story about your love life and poker life. And
That's so cool.
I said, "What love life? I got no damn look at me. Bald, I'm ugly, what the hell?" But they changed my thinking on that.
Remember what they said on the show? Don't tell yourself these lies about yourself, Clyde.
Yeah, I know.
You'll start
Well,
to believe it as
But
know.
so you did watch the whole show.
Oh
okay.
yeah. You're doing
But-
great, bro. Keep doing your
But
thing.
you know, I mean, I'm telling you that I would never think that that would come across like that. And like I said, it was supposed to be about my love life, which is nothing, and my poker life, and then I have the heart attack. So that was added to the show, and here I am doing this. I love it, and it's what I love.
I feel like you need to be out at
And all these new clothes, I didn't do the show for this. This is all new stuff I got from doing the show.
Mm.
And you know, I'm not destitute or nothing, but these are nice jeans and stuff.
I feel like you
And,
need a trip out to Stoney's Rockin' Country where
Do
you
I?
can meet some young ladies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I feel like that'd be a good spot for you. You been there?
A long time ago, I think I was out there once. It's been a long time.
Yeah, there was an old location, but
What
now there's a
location?
new location at Town Square. I
Towns.
think it's like a country
I-
bar. You like country bar scene,
Oh
right?
yeah, I love country music.
I think that's like the spot as far as I know.
love country music.
Yeah.
I was at the one at the Santa Fe. That's by where I live out there. I went to that one.
Is that down
There's
by
a
South
stone-
Point?
it-
South.
No, it's at Santa Fe Station.
Oh, they have
Casino.
one.
They
out
got
there.
one in there. I was there once,
Okay.
but that's been a while. And I was there once. I liked it. I mean, you know, I think the prices for what I drink is kind of high, but you know, I could see me maybe going there now that I got all this new wardrobe though.
Yeah.
I got two. Look at this. Look at this nice hat. Seriously. Oh,
That's-
wait a minute. This is my old one, but I got two brand new ones that I wore. This is one of my older ones, but it's a nice one.
That is
But
nice.
these jeans are new, the shirt's new, and I'm thankful to God for everything that He's given me. And like I've said many times, there's a reason why I'm still here today.
You look great, and
know,
you deserve all the.
I worked
Remember,
hard
you
to get
deserve all the success. You got to believe that too. Like you deserve
I don't-
all the happiness that.
Just because you love something doesn't mean you deserve it. I mean, I work hard to get where I'm at,
Yeah.
and I'm still getting used to this like celebrity thing.
Yeah. I'm
Everywhere
sure
I go,
that's-
someone knows who I am.
That's
now,
got to
but
be wild, huh?
It's it gets me laughing sometimes because I'm just an average guy.
Yeah.
I mean, they did a lot of stuff for me for the show. Look, I got
Yeah.
new teeth. Look at these
Those
babies.
look awesome, man.
Fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
And no one knew I had ugly teeth before, but I did.
Mm.
But that's just one of the many things they done for me. And you know what? The Fab Five was absolutely phenomenal. No, really.
Oh,
they
the
give
group,
me
yeah.
they give me courage to maybe ask another woman out again.
Mhm.
I haven't done that yet, but I got a couple in mind. But yeah, I mean, it done a lot for me
Yeah.
because I really thought I was ugly. I mean, I really did because I was bald. I mean, just everything. Everything
the-
just seemed like wrinkles here and there now.
Yeah,
but-
we're
but
all
I don't
guilty
feel
of
that
telling
way now.
ourselves these lies about ourselves, just like the one dude said in the show. You can't, you told yourself that so many times that you started to believe it. But you're a really awesome dude, and any woman you come across would be lucky to have you in her company.
Well, I guarantee I will never do her wrong and never have done a woman wrong. But that's secondary right now. I don't even have anything to offer a woman other than treating them right. I'm just being honest.
That's more than a lot of guys can offer. So.
But I tell you what, though, I think someday I will be able to do what I've always wanted to do, and that's buy me a house. I think I can get that.
Oh, yeah.
That would be wonderful. Okay. All right, well, listen, we're going to end this up here, and I always end it off by giving somebody a snack. So you hang on. Let me give you a snack here. And I appreciate you coming on the show, that's for sure.
Thank you for having me.
Got yourself a
look at that beauty.
From the snack man.
Let's go.
You got you a snack there. I knew that you'd enjoy that.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir, man. It's glad to have you. Any more time you want to come on the show is great.
Oh, yeah.
And once again, we had a wonderful time here. And I'd like to thank Sunrise Podcast Network again for having us. And everyone have a wonderful day, and may God bless you.
See you guys.